Hello, and welcome back to MoJo JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the one and only Powerpuff Girls / JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast. I'm Raven.
And I'm Alison.
Today we're going to be discussing the episodes Beat Your Greens and Down and Dirty, and these are both some very good episodes. I don't have any news this week, so we can start whenever.
Fine. Okay, so Beat Your Greens, Season 2, Episode 5. These episodes aired together September 10th, 1999, and were nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Animated Program. I feel like there was another time they were nominated for something, but I don't think, it doesn't say that they won.
Yeah.
But they've been nominated a couple times. So Beat Your Greens is a play on Eat Your Greens. So the episode starts with a spacecraft hiding behind the moon and launching a torpedo to Earth. It lands in farmland. The town of Farmsville is harvesting tons of broccoli and it is shipped to Townsville. Parents try to force broccoli on their kids, including the professor. Only the adults seem to actually be eating it. The broccoli-like aliens, so they're called broccoloids. I don't know that I called them that the entire time, but the broccoli-like aliens on the ship are gleeful about setting their plan in motion, which involves the infected broccoli. They want to weed out the humans and start a new empire on Earth. All the adults are petrified with glowing green eyes. So it's like the main broccoli guy sort of has like a staff thingy that's like controlling.
Yeah, or like a scepter.
Yeah. The girls investigate the broccoli and find the missile/torpedo. Blossom has microscopic vision and finds alien spores on the broccoli. So I'm guessing, is this the first time? It was Blossom, right?
Yeah.
That she has microscopic vision. I don't remember them ever being able to like zoom in on microscopic things before.
That's the only time I can think of them using it. It's kind of like, I guess, with like Superman, they're just kind of like, they're like, oh, they have this ability now because it's useful to the plot.
Yeah, but like the wiki usually points it out, and I don't think it did.
Yeah.
Like if they have something, they'll be like, this is the first time they used their ice breath. It's like there was no mention of that. Okay, so there's alien spores on the broccoli and all over the field. The aliens land and are kind of like pooped out of the ship as the girl hide as a scarecrow. At the word invasion, they pop out and the aliens wonder why they aren't hypnotized. Blossom says it's because they didn't eat any diabological spores. Is that what she said?
I wrote it down as diabological.
Okay, I still can't say it. Diabological spores. The alien broccoli start shooting from wiener guns. I'm sorry, but they look like penises from certain angles. And the girls fight back and chop off some limbs, but they are able to grow them back. The girls find this scary, but realize they must eat the broccoli to get rid of them. They eat everyone but the leader when several more ships land. The girls retreat to Townsville to get help from the other children because they are getting full. So they can't eat any more broccoli, they don't think. And then they were able to eat like an entire ship full, but I'm not sure how many landed, like probably at least like 10 or more new ships.
There are a bunch.
The kids don't believe at first, but Buttercup winds them up by reminding them of their hypnotized parents. The broccoli aliens roll out in vehicles while the kids stock up on utensils. The girls fly and destroy their tanks. The kids dump cheese on the aliens as they march into the city. So I thought that was pretty clever because a lot of times that's how parents do kind of trick kids into eating broccoli.
Yeah.
Or any vegetables by like sticking cheese on it.
I also thought maybe it was kind of like a play on like, I guess it was medieval times where they would like pour boiling oil.
Yeah. I mean, it did seem to like immobilize those aliens. Like they were kind of stuck in a clump with the cheese.
Right.
But it didn't kill them outright. Yeah, I do think it was a play on that also, but I just thought it was fun, because the kids are still reluctant to eat this broccoli.
Yeah.
So they had to put cheese on it. Then they pour out into the street and eat the aliens. It's a little zombie-esque, because they're just like, they really go to town. I think there's even like a baby involved. Like they just devour these aliens, especially for them being reluctant at first. Many of the kids are too full to continue when two kids ride in on goats who mow down the broccoli. So they had one kid who was like down on the ground. I forget, I think it has to do with like a war movie where he's like, I can't do anymore.
Yeah, I think I wrote down it's from Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
The horror. The horror.
Yeah. Like, just a Star Wars or whatever. Like, those are like PG movies, but like throwing in Apocalypse Now references, I'm not sure that that's cool. And what was the peanut thing? Was that from The Princess Bride?
Yeah.
That maybe is okay.
It's mostly kid friendly, I feel like.
Yeah.
I've only seen it once, but
The aliens try to retreat, but the kids continue attacking. Finally, only the leader is left. The girls eat him and destroy his hypnotizing staff or scepter, and the adults wake up. Later, the professor takes the girls to the grocery. The adults watch on in horror as the children attack the produce section. And then it's like, the day is saved by the children of Townsville. So it's like a pretty clever episode. Like, I don't really have like, sometimes I'm like, oh my god, they beat the crap out of this guy and he barely, it like mostly it wasn't his fault.
yeah. There are many food puns throughout.
Like it was pretty cute, and like having the kids have to eat the broccoli. I mean, hopefully this doesn't cause problems later on down the line.
Yeah.
Because they ate aliens and alien spore. But the broccoli was planning to like wipe out humanity. So I
Yes.
feel like this is like fine.
Yeah, they were a bunch of colonizers, and the children defeated them.
I thought it was like as a whole, it's a pretty good episode.
Yeah. I don't think it encouraged me to eat broccoli though as a child. I think I was still like, no thank you. But I enjoyed the episode.
I
It's
like
just it didn't work on me like that.
I don't know. I'm almost I was while we were watching it, I'm like, is this why you don't like to eat broccoli?
I don't know.
I can remember like not liking broccoli. I like it like the raw broccoli with dip. I like broccoli with cheese. I actually like broccoli soup. So I don't know. I don't super have a big problem with most vegetables, but
I'm just very picky about my
I
veggies.
have like a beef about lima beans and that's about it.
Yes, lima beans are foul and disgusting. I have a Jimmy Neutron episode where they have to eat the lima beans. It's sort of similar to this one in a way.
I try to give lima beans a try every once in a while. Like it'll be like in a soup and I don't know what it is about them, but
They're so yucky.
I'd be fine never just leave it out of stuff. Quit trying to make us eat the lima beans. Feed them to livestock or something.
Yeah, I'm not saying like wipe out the lima beans, but I'm just saying stop making me try to eat them.
Yeah, quit putting them in soup mixes or whatever. Just yeah.
Yeah. And of course the food puns. Their leader's last words are "Leave me alone. I don't desert this."
But he did.
He did. He did desert this. Okay, well, I guess I can start talking about our next episode, which is Down and Dirty, which is a very Buttercup centric episode. Townsville is a tidy, clean town. Well, except for Buttercup. She fights a giant stink monster and is covered in mud and grime. She turns into a tornado and takes the creature into outer space where it disperses. "I feel so dirty," say her sisters. "I know, isn't it great?" says Buttercup. Back at home, the professor draws them a nice hot bath, but Buttercup refuses to get in, declaring only big fat sissies take baths. The next day, Buttercup gets even grimier as they fight a mammoth monster that shoots big nasty boogers. Buttercup is covered in the green goo, but still seems bloodthirsty for battle. After they defeat the monster, Buttercup's light trail is made to look like the mucus, and her sisters are disgusted by her scent. She's pretty much a living stink cloud at this point. At home, Blossom and Bubbles enjoy another bath, but Buttercup says they'll only get dirty again tomorrow and refuses. Professor smells her and insists she takes a bath because of how horrible her scent is. She tells him if he doesn't like it to throw her out, and he does, which is wild to do to a 5-year-old. The next day, as Blossom and Bubbles fly to school, Buttercup fights a giant cyclops. She decapitates the monster and slices him in half, but his head forms legs and runs off, and his halves grow eyes above the arms. The arms grab a giant septic tank and throw it at Buttercup. but she is undeterred despite the filth. She tricks the monster into tying their arms into knots, but when the knots break, they are so disgusted by the smell that they run in terror. Buttercup arrives at school, but is so stinky that Miss Keene declares a fire drill and makes Buttercup stay in despite the danger. Buttercup leaves, and her smell is so rank that she makes dogs sniffing each other's butts run away, wakes up homeless people, and spreads her stink all throughout Townsville. She smells so awful that the mayor starts getting calls about the smell, and the Townsvillians form a mob trying to find the source of the odor. When they realize it's Buttercup, they chase her through the woods with torches. You stink! You smell! You reek! Declares the mayor. Buttercup then remembers she can fly and flies up and away. She laments that her family friends in town all rejected her for her smell, but vows that as long as she can still fight monsters, she'll never come clean. It is then that a giant dragon-like monster rises up from the water around her, and she gleefully attacks it, shoots fire, and inhales the air around it so hard that it sucks Buttercup up into its nose. The creature is horrified by her stench and frantically tries to get it back out of its nostril. The monster decides to leave, and Buttercup calls after it, but it says it's leaving because she smells so foul. Buttercup becomes so frustrated by the monster's surrender that she goes home and agrees to a bath. Her sisters scrub her from behind clear masks like out of a hazmat suit. Buttercup says she only bathed because it inhibited her ability to fight monsters, and Blossom says that you may be clean, but your attitude still stinks. The narrator declares that the day is bathed. So yeah, I also did not enjoy baths as a small child, so I did get called Buttercup because of this episode. I will admit. I don't think I ever got nearly as bad as her in this, but I just did not enjoy bathing.
I mean, I don't think we'd let you go days and days.
Yeah.
You probably still had to take a bath, even if you said you didn't want to. Not really sure why. She didn't really explain why she didn't want to bathe.
Yeah, there was no really like good reason behind it. She's just like, I'll be a big sissy if I bathe. And it's like, calm down, Buttercup.
The one thing, like stuff that was coming out of the elephant, like she licked it off her face or something.
Yeah, she did. She did.
And then the Cyclops, that was probably one of the weirdest things I've seen on the show.
Yeah, definitely one of the weirdest creatures they fought, and it's not like Cyclopes are like known for their regenerative abilities or anything like that either. So it's just kind of weird all around.
Well, when she decapitated him, I was kind of shocked.
Yeah.
Then it was like she had cut it down the middle, and it was just bizarre. Like the halves of just the like the headless halves of the body. They grew the eyes, and then I think under the arm was a mouth.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Very peculiar. I guess I always forget about the part where she decapitates him because, yeah, I'm kind of surprised that in 1999 they're just like, yes, on this children's show, we will decapitate the monster. But it's okay because he grew legs and ran away.
Yeah, like it was still alive. It's fine.
There was no gore, so it was fine.
This is humor.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, there are some times where it can get pretty violent on, like, say, Steven Universe or something, but I'm not sure if, like, Steven would, like, decapitate someone.
I kind of did understand like her saying like, what does her like being clean have to do with her being a superhero?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I sort of get that. I could see like, I don't know. I guess like a 5-year-old maybe doesn't understand hygiene and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if just like I guess stinky stuff doesn't bother her. I can understand if she didn't want to wear certain clothes to be a superhero. I'm kind of surprised she goes along with like their normal uniform.
Yeah, but it's matchy and a dress. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, well, I mean, when you were little, you got in trouble at like Head Start because like you couldn't keep your dress down or whatever.
I just like to do stunts.
So it's like I could see her, even just them trying to fight and stuff in the dress, this sort of doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. It's funny that I was compared to Buttercup in this episode, but now I have the OCDs, and so I'm like super all about the hygiene.
Well, you like your hands clean, but you still don't like to bathe, I don't think.
I don't like to be naked, and I don't like to have wet hair.
I wonder if that's part of her problem. But they went swimming.
Yeah.
So I feel like this, in a way, came out of nowhere, because I guess they haven't really talked about them bathing and stuff, but yeah, she does. doesn't mind swimming, so I don't think it's the getting wet part.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Her whole deal with that is not really explained. It's just she decided, it's like she just woke up one day and she's like, I will become the filthiest creature possible.
Like the town going after her was like a bit much. Again,
Yeah.
she is 5.
They went after her like she was Frankenstein's monster.
But also that she's just so determined. She didn't care if she was kicked out of the house, kicked out of the town.
5-year-olds are very stubborn.
And her, like, she would have put her away from her sisters and the professor. She didn't care until she couldn't fight monsters anymore.
Yeah.
It's a little interesting what she thinks is important.
Which apparently is mostly just kicking ass.
I just feel like most people, I mean, sometimes I find it annoying to have to bathe or have to bathe so often, but it just, I feel gross. Like
Yes,
there's a
yeah.
film on my skin, and then if I can smell myself, that's gross too. So for her to be so stinky that like she's stinking up the whole town and everything,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't like to be greasy. I don't like to be able to smell my pits, and Buttercup's just like the world will smell me.
I mean, she probably could have used it to fight monsters, though, or keep
Perhaps.
them at bay.
I thought it was funny that even the dogs who were sniffing each other's butts did not enjoy the smell. I would think they would want to roll all around on her like she was a dead skunk or something.
I guess it was just like too strong or past the point that they find it attractive. I was like goo and stuff from multiple monsters, so
Yeah, when she even like sleep in the bed that night with her sisters, like she would get so much yucky stuff on the sheets, and then they'd have to smell her while they were trying to sleep.
I think I would want a separate bed.
Yeah,
Because there's no way she just suddenly decided to not bathe.
yeah,
So she's probably like that a bit of the time. Probably skipped baths because Professor's pretty absent minded.
yeah.
And maybe if the other two girls just decided to take a bath and he wasn't the one supervising the bath, she probably skipped when she could get away with it.
Probably.
So yeah, if I was Blossom and Bubbles, I would want separate beds.
Yeah. I'm just surprised they tolerate sleeping in the same bed together, anyways.
I could see 2 people in a bed, but the one in the middle is just like screwed.
Yeah. Which is usually Blossom. I'm surprised she tolerates being in the middle. Unless she just thinks it'll keep, like, Buttercup from Bubbles and vice versa if they're, like, feuding at the moment.
Yeah, I guess they are kind of like triplets, so maybe they'd be touching each other. I don't know.
Perhaps. I think that wraps up our discussion for this week. Tune in to the next episode where we talk about the episode Slave the Day and Los Dos Mojos. Thank you so much for listening to the pod. If you've been enjoying the show so far, it would be super cool if you could subscribe and leave a review if you haven't already. And if you're watching this on YouTube instead of your podcatcher of choice, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and leave a comment instead of a review. It was super cool of you.
Yeah, my call to action is, did you like to eat broccoli as a kid, or was there a vegetable you refused to eat, and did you hate to bathe? Put that in our comments so we know you're listening.
Yeah. And of course, we have a second podcast now as well, What We Pod in the Shadows, which is about, of course, what we do in the shadows, which is a mockumentary about 4 vampire roommates and their familiar Guillermo. It is a very funny show. We are talking about the 6th and final season right now, but we're going to go back after those are finished and we're going to talk about the show from the beginning after we're finished with season 6. So thank you so much for your listenership. Until next time, I'll be the roundabout. Goodbye.
Goodbye.